Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thanks, Terry, for your kind words. Just very brief words I'll start with to really describe who we are, because I realize that we are not really well known in France as much as in Britain or US or other side of the world, and we need to correct that. And I was very pleased actually when I received the magazine in my room, Jeune l'Afrique, and found that there is the first 2 pages actually was about the index. Very briefly, I'm a businessman. Well, initially I'm an engineer, academic, etc. And I probably ended my business life by introducing mobile phones into sub-Saharan Africa. We built 15 countries in mainly sub-Saharan Africa. And we started the revolution in mobile phones in Africa. And that's something I'm very proud of, because I believe mobile phones, it changed life in Africa. Today we have 450 mobile phones in Africa. The only item on the Millennium Development Goals which we have achieved well before the year 2014 or 15. So that was a good thing. We sold our company in 2005, and we made a lot of money. And I decided I really don't need that money. And I was glad that my wife agreed, because that would have been a problem. And I decided to give this money back to Africa. And as a businessman, I really wanted to give the money back to Africa in a meaningful way. Instead of hiring a number of planes and fill it with food and take it to Darfur or take it to Somalia, which is a very noble act, the question is how to stop new Darfurs, how to stop new Somalias, how we're going to change Africa. And we came to the conclusion the only way to really change Africa is governance and leadership. Why, ladies and gentlemen, governance and leadership is so important for Africa? Africa is the second largest continent on earth. We have a very generous share of the international resources. Africa is rich. It's rich in its land, its resources, its geography. It's a rich continent. There are not many of us. African people are 950 million. 2/3 of India. 2/3 of China. That's all 53 African countries. There are not a lot of people in Africa, in this continent. So why are we poor? Why we are a rich continent but poor people? That is a question we need to answer and we need to face. We immediately rejected the issue of history. Africa, we all know, had a tragic history. We had slavery, we had colonialism, we had the Cold War, which was very bad for Africa, actually. But African countries have been independent for 50 years now. As the day of independence, Ghana was richer than South Korea, than China, than Singapore, than Malaysia. Their head was much higher income. So is Sudan, so is Egypt. So many countries in Africa. Why are we so behind today? The only explanation was the quality of governance and leadership in our countries. We are responsible for our fate. It's not anybody else. So we started by saying, don't look north, east, or south. Look at yourself. We are the makers of our own fortune. And what we need is to really improve the way we are running our societies. We need kind of leaders who serve honestly, serve their people, and don't amass money in Swiss banks, or don't go and buy some lovely villas in your Antibes and Côte d'Azur, you know all those guys over there. And we really need good governance and good leadership. It's simple. That's it. That's the only difference. So that's why we decided to focus our foundation on governance, the issue of governance. That was 4 years ago. And from the outset, we said this is an African foundation. We will not take money from anybody. So we don't raise funds because we don't want to be described as agents of Britain or agents of France or financed by the Americans. We want nothing to do with those guys. We are Africans. Our money is African money made in Africa. We're giving it back to African people. At the same time, since we don't receive grants, we also don't give grants. So please, nobody come to me after the meeting and say, give us some grants. We don't. So it is a closed foundation. The foundation is run by African people, and half our board, half all our constitutions are always women, because that is the point we're trying to make also in Africa. At the same time, we are not xenophobic. We don't have anything against white people or yellow people or orange people. We have few people. We have people like Martti Ahtisaari from Finland, the Nobel Prize winner, president of Finland, who did the independence of Namibia. He's also Namibian citizen. We have Mary Robinson, ex-president of Ireland. So we have no problem with Europeans or white people, and welcome. Of course, we don't have a Chinese member in our board, but we hope that will be corrected in the near future. So how we started then our work, we have two main projects. One project is the index. And this is a summary of the index which was published last week. We talk about governance. What is governance? We need to define governance. We need to measure governance. So we had a huge team, people working with us, experts, and we came with a definition of governance. At the end, it is a basket of political deliverables, which any government of any kind, of any color, must deliver to its people. That's the job of the government, to deliver to its people. We have four main areas: the area of economy, the area of human development, health, education, etc., the area of rule of law, safety and human rights, etc., transparency. We measure 88 parameters. 88 parameters for every African countries. It's a huge task. We cannot do it alone. But at the same time, we don't believe that we should work alone. We believe in partnerships. We have 25 partners working with us. We have agreements with the World Bank, with the United Nations, with WHO, ITU, Transparency International, Free, all these organizations. Everybody give us formally all the raw data on Africa. Our teams scrub this data, discuss with the experts in those organizations, and we end up with the most comprehensive set of data on Africa ever done. So in our documents, you'll find, actually, we go back 10 years. 88 parameters measures the quality of governance in each country. We rank. In every item, we rank. All the data is available. We don't have any IPR issues. People can download it from our website. And what we do is publish in English, in French, in Portuguese, in Arabic, and in Swahili, the 5 official languages of the African Union. We take a page, a whole page, in the leading newspaper in every country to publish the result of that country in the local language. Also, the surrounding countries around that country. We send CDs to members of parliaments, to universities, researchers, etc., the government people. So the data is spread widely across Africa. Why are we doing that? Because it's really important for us, the people in Africa, to have a scorecard. We need to know who's doing what to whom, what every government is delivering, how many kilometers of road you've paved last year, how many hospital beds, How many kids went to school? How many kids finished school? How long girls stayed at schools? What about social women rights? How many rape cases we had? How many illegal killings you had? We need to measure everything happening in Africa and put it out in the light. It is useful for governments because you can measure what's their policies. You have all the data for 10 years, their data and data of other people. You need to know what policies work, what doesn't work.